Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. You guys know what time it is. Time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And a lot of you say, Jason, I don't like these kind of videos. You saw the title of the video when you clicked on it? I have 4 workout vlogs up every week, tons of informative videos. Go check those out instead. But for those of you who enjoy these videos, please remember to click like down below to offset the dislikes a little bit. But a number of people have awared me that Vince over at V-Shred, aka V-Shrunk, has made a video for a leg workout, full leg workout for bigger, stronger legs. Now I find it a little ironic that a guy with small, weak legs is making a video on bigger, stronger legs. So let me go ahead and put on my +5 How to Speechcraft and let's talk about this. Now, a bunch of people also linked me his deadlift video, but I haven't even had time to watch it. I have so many other videos in the current events that I need to cover. But looking at what he said about Romanian deadlifts, I might need to go back and look at that one too, because he probably doesn't know how to deadlift. But let's kind of come to this point. Look, I understand a lot of people out there who might be fans of Vince say, but I like Vince's physique. I want that kind of physique. Well, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Look, you have your goals, and if you've got a specific fitness goal, that's fine. That's your goal. But you don't need to weight train with large amounts of training to reach that. That's mostly a conditioning type physique, right? You could do a lot of conditioning work and a little bit of curls and chin-ups and stuff and get there. It's not about building muscle. You don't need to do a lot of muscle building to be where he's at. You just don't. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. Your goals are your goals. Me, I want to squat 600 pounds in my 40s. That's my goal. But, I can respect that different people have different goals, and we need to discuss those goals. But his exercise selection and execution was not good. He doesn't know how to program, doesn't know anything about training programming. He's not even up to speed on anything in the strength and conditioning world, anything in the exercise science world. Literally everything in this video is just straight out of a magazine, and it's bad. Now up front, he's like, well, a lot of people have low back problems, and so we're going to put you on a leg press. Really? No, you need to learn how to squat. You need to learn how to squat. And if you can't teach somebody how to squat, or they can't learn to squat, they can learn to box squat. Squat should be your staple exercise. And I'm not saying it has to be a normal barbell back squat. There are alternatives. You can learn to box squat, and that would be fine. Maybe you're not even strong enough to use a barbell. You can learn to box squat with your body. You can learn to box squat with a little pair of 5-pound pink dumbbells. You can learn to box squat, even if you can't learn to squat at first. And that's fine, totally acceptable. I have no problem putting a novice on a parallel box and learning to box squat on that if they can't quite handle squatting yet. They've got psychological hang-ups about sitting back. They've got some mobility issues. That's fine. You don't put them on a leg press. Even worse, we come over to the point and he goes, and a lot of people have lower back problems on the leg press. And he has a history of low back problems. And he mentions why, and I'm going to agree. The leg press is not safe for your lower back. Now, I want to make that very, very, very clear. A leg press is not safer for your lower back than a squat, which is why a history of low back problems is not a reason to get on a leg press machine. Okay, there are other exercises that you need to consider. That's a whole different category. A leg press is absolutely not a reasonable substitute for someone with a herniated disc in their lower back, major back problems, to where you can't barbell squat. If you physically cannot barbell squat due to a back problem, you need to stay off of the leg press. He went on to say that the worst issue with a leg press has to do with when you come to a certain depth and you lack the mobility, and then your lower back rolls under, right? You get that lumbar rounding. And he said, and that's a problem, so don't do that. And he proceeds to, while he's talking about not doing it, he does it on every single rep. He actually does the thing that he's telling you not to do, and that he doesn't do because he's got a history of low back problems. He actually does it. And he doesn't say, hey, I'm doing it wrong here, here's the right way. He literally does it all the way through on every single rep. Like, didn't you just tell us not to do that, Vince? What you just demonstrated is going to hurt people's low backs. You're going to take somebody who's telling me they have back pain and a history of low back problems, and you're going to have them leg press the way that you leg pressed. You're going to cripple them. The leg press is not safe for people with low backs, and you demonstrated the very problem with your execution of it that is the biggest risk. Ridiculous. Leg press is absolutely not a substitute. Cannot substitute. He went on to say, now an alternative to the squat. We can do the, what do they call it? The Bulgarian split squat. Okay, this is another one of my pet peeves. That is not a Bulgarian split squat. Yes, that is what is being called a Bulgarian split squat. That is not the way the coach from Bulgaria demonstrated them when it brought them over to America, which, by the way, the Bulgarians didn't use. That's got its own history story. You guys do know a Bulgarian split squat, your foot is not elevated up in the air. You don't bend your back knee. Your leg is stuck straight back on top of a block behind you with your knee locked. It's not a knee bend where your foot, the top of your foot is up on something. The ball on your foot extends all the way behind you onto a block or a plate pretty low to the ground, like 4 to 6 inches off the ground, and it extends straight back behind you. And then you go into a squat. It's not much different than what we would think of as a traditional split squat on the floor. The way you guys kind of see me doing it. Some people would think of as a barbell lunge. Yes, and it's done with a barbell. Get in a rack and do it with a barbell. Because you can't load enough weight. On this same thing he's talking about, yeah, grab some dumbbells and do this, and it's going to be heavy. You just said right there that people, oh, this workout work for people going up to 5 years of training experience. Really? Tell me someone with 5 years of training experience is going to find heavy enough dumbbells to do that? Furthermore, let's come over to recovery issues. Using dumbbells on it defeats the whole purpose. One of the benefits we get from something like a squat like this is that it's lighter weight and it's up on top of the back instead of held in the hands. In any exercise that replicates a squatting movement, it's one of the problems with a deadlift. Like deadlifts are harder to recover from partially because the weight is hanging in your hands. Okay, there's a reason good mornings are easier to recover from deadlifts, even like compared to like a Romanian deadlift. If recovery is what we're dealing with, I wouldn't recommend you do them with dumbbells at all. Just do them with a barbell. Do them in a rack. But you don't put your foot way up in the air behind you. And that's its own set of issues. That is not even a Bulgarian split squat. And I know that's what all these coaches and fluff people teach. That is not a real Bulgarian split squat. That's not the way it's performed. Your leg's supposed to be way back behind you. And the whole point is that you're supposed to get into a deep squat with your knee not sliding past your toe. Right? That's the whole point, is that it puts you into a deep quad stretch so that you can load an enormous amount of weight on each leg individually with reduced axial loading. In other words, you might only be using less than half of the weight you use on a back squat. Because you've got your body weight, your torso weight still there, plus the weight of the barbell, and it's usually for a bit more reps. In other words, you can handle higher reps and higher volumes of training due to the reduced axial loading. Therefore, you can get more leg volume in, and it helps develop your lower quad and your glute and your hips. Right? It is not a substitute for squats. You cannot replace a back squat with a split squat. Okay, you are not going to get the same strength and development. It's a supplemental lift that allows you to train with more training volume due to the reduced loading on the spine, the reduced axial loading. And train independently so that maybe if you have one leg that's weaker than the other, you know which one it is, you can train the weak leg first. It can be the leading one that determines how many reps you do. Okay? So these are problems already. The other big issue he's talking about, we're going to go heavy so we take 2 minutes break. Why are you taking 2 minutes break on heavy sets? Every single study that's looked at it found that you need at least 3 minutes for maximum growth. Every study. Why are you taking 2 minutes between heavier sets? And not that 8 reps are heavy. They're not. But 2 minutes? No, you need 3, maybe more. The other issue, mixing extreme rep ranges on the same lifts in the same workout, that's bad programming. You're going to do 6s and 15s on the same exercises. And then go back over and do 6s and 15s again on a second exercise using similar muscles. It's ridiculous. And then he's like, so we're going to do the really high reps, and then we slow the tempo down for more time under tension because that helps with growth. Time under tension is not a factor in muscle growth. I'm not saying there isn't some correlation, and here's why. More training volume usually up to a threshold equals more growth, right? More training volume has more time under tension. People say, what do you mean? 30 reps has more time under tension than 10 reps does in the same workout. Okay, that's what it means. If you did 3 sets of 3, that would be a certain amount of time under tension. You did 10 sets of 3, that would be more time under tension, or 3 sets of 10, because there's 3 times as many reps. Actually, a little more than 3, 3 1/3. Okay, you guys get the idea. There is more time under tension, so it is correlated, but it doesn't cause it. There is no scientific evidence or reason to believe that time under tension causes more muscle growth itself. It's only correlated with because more volume usually has more tension time. Furthermore, slower reps cause less muscle growth. That's not a point of contention in the scientific literature. You gain less strength and less muscle from doing slow reps. So he's like, slow it down and do the really high reps for more muscle growth. Absolutely absurd. The faster you can execute a rep with good form, let me state this again. The faster you can execute a rep with good form through the full range of motion, the more muscle fibers you recruit with any given weight. Therefore, you should be lifting a weight as quickly as possible on the concentric. We can argue about the eccentric. The concentric, the lifting of the rep, should be lifted as fast as possible without hurting yourself and without breaking form down, if your goal is to maximize muscle fiber stimulation. That is not a controversial statement. That is not even a point of contention. It's pretty well accepted in the research, pretty well accepted in the sports world. Absolutely ridiculous. There's a reason Vince has no leg size or strength. This workout kind of displays it. Terrible workout. Terrible workout. I give it 0 stars. 2 thumbs down. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.